Okay, and if we take a look at pitfall number 8 here, failing to properly dispose of records. An ABC group, what they were doing was disposing files in the trash, which is an absolute no-no. And if you do so, that exposes the employee's personal information to identity theft, to basically other individuals reviewing their information and having that information, using it against them, and it voids a lot of different privacy laws as well. And if you're throwing away medical information in that manner, you will be in direct violation of HIPAA laws. So you want to make sure that you do not dispose of files in the trash. Now, the right approach is to do the following: shred files, burn files, and erase all traces of electronic files. And I'll go into a little bit more detail here. And when records are disposed of, employers are required to do so in a way that protects against unauthorized access or use of employees' personal information. For example, the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act of 2003, an amendment to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, requires employers to take reasonable measures to properly dispose of background screening reports in order to prevent against identity theft and maintain the confidentiality of such records. Some examples of reasonable measures include the following: burning, pulverizing, or shredding papers containing consumer information so that they cannot be read or used in any way; destroying or erasing electronic data containing consumer information so that it cannot be accessed or read; also contracting with a company that engages in the business of records destructions to dispose of consumer information in a manner consistent with the FACTA Act. And you should only do this after you do your due diligence to ensure that the company has procedures in place to protect the information that you are handing off to them. And some of the fines can reach $2,500 for improper disposal, and that could be on a per document basis or per file basis. So you want to make sure that you are following the right procedures and guidelines as directed by state and federal governments. Again, based on the fine figure that we see there, it could be very costly for you to be in or any organization to be in violation of these laws. And just in summary here, your records must be retained for a certain period in accordance with applicable laws. They should be stored properly, one main personnel file and one secondary file with separate medical information. That would add an extra level of security and make sure that no one that shouldn't have access to medical records or other personal data can't access them and use that information improperly. You should secure and make sure that all information is kept confidential at all times, and you make sure that any records that have any that need to be discarded are discarded properly, and that you follow all legal requirements under state and federal laws. And for retention times, we must remember that certain records must be retained for a certain period of time. For example, under the Immigration Reform and Control Act, employers are required to retain I-9 forms for 3 years or for 1 year following the date of termination, whichever is longer. Other laws, such as the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, or ERISA, have different retention requirements, which is 6 years for all plan documents within the file. For storage, records must be stored in a way that does not allow managers and other employees to use an employee's personal information in making employment decisions. As such, information related to an employee's health, workers' compensation history, and the like must be kept separate from the personnel file, and all files should be kept under lock and key at all times, only accessible by those that need to know that information. And proper disposal. When records are disposed of, employers are required to do so in a way that protects against unauthorized access or use of employees' personal information personal information. Employers should make every attempt possible to make sure that this information is kept confidential while disposing of employee records. Okay, and here we have a lot of different resources available at hr411.com, and here we have a kit that will help you be in complete compliance with state and federal laws regarding the maintenance, the updating, and the deletion or the disposal of employee records, whether they are just payroll records or medical records. This guide will help you walk through a step-by-step record-keeping guide. It'll provide you with 10 essential record-keeping forms. Just in case you don't have them available, we'll provide them to you. It'll also provide you with a ready-to-use PowerPoint training program, which will allow you to train, for example, supervisors or other HR representatives on how they should keep records, what records they should keep, and how they should maintain and store those records. It'll also provide you with a best practice record-keeping policy that you can use to add to your employee handbook to make sure that you are in compliance with state and federal labor laws. And the last part of the employee record-keeping kit is federal compliance information. We'll provide you with all the information that you need to know so that you're compliant with federal guidelines, FMLA, ERISA, the FACTA Act, ADA, and every other policy or guideline that may affect your records retention and maintenance programs. And that's available at hr411.com /record keeping. Now we're going to have Mike. He's actually going to touch on a couple of more points here, and I'll go ahead and hand it over to Mike.
Great. Thanks, Charles. That was excellent. Appreciate all that detail. Couple of points just before we close up and answer your questions. I wanted to invite you to Sage Summit, which is our annual conference that's taking place in just a few weeks here in Atlanta, and you'll have the chance to attend Peachtree training sessions as well as sessions on other Sage products and general small business best practices. And this is also a great opportunity to network with peers and also product insiders, including myself and all of the rest of the Peachtree product team. You can visit sagesummit.com for all of the details and the full agenda on that event. So we look forward to seeing some of you there. Hopefully we'll be able to meet you face-to-face.